Hello everyone and welcome to the first map we get preps, and my gosh, I have missed these so much already. Do you like preps?
I like preparations. Actually, that's a goddamn lie. I never do my preps. Everyone who watches any of my series knows that. I have a problem where I understand the importance of preps. And in like 0% growth runs, where I do have to like look at a map, approach, figure out the problems, I do a degree of preparations. I'm currently planning a clear for a zero growth playthrough that I'm doing, and the preps are like a big part in like testing out my turn ones and seeing, okay, how do I change this person's inventory? It's typically how I approach those, right? But by golly, if I'm playing a more casual playthrough, the number of comments I've gotten in my no redundancy playthrough that are just like all caps, do your preps, and I respond, no.
That's the best part about my problem with preps, where I take too long, because nobody has to see those. So I can take as long as I want on my preps and I don't have to worry about it.
I have to see them. I have to see you save 7 times without making any changes in between.
I was hoping you wouldn't comment or anything about that.
Speaking of comments, should we discuss, the elephant in the room in terms of, like, who all is deployed, or rather not deployed?
So, overall, we've deemed that of all the units, Rucker and Clarine are too precious to risk losing before Chapter 7. Marcus is still going to be free because even though I have the option to field him, this map would be such a slog without him. This map would take forever if I didn't have him, and I really don't want to spend 3 hours in one map. The Axe Bros are pretty disposable overall. I only really need Chad for this map, so I don't really mind if I lose him, and he's kind of here to open boxes.
Gem would be nice though. Like if he's alive for the red gem, that'd be. I think the ideal scenario is Chad dies next map.
Yes, I think that would be ideal. Because from that point onwards, there's not a whole lot I want to worry about stealing. Also, Merlin is going to stand here.
You have a Stolfo and Cath for that too, is the thing.
Yep.
He's like, Chad is super redundant at that point. I guess the other ideal scenario is like Walt dies next map, and then Chad can die in a different map where you just have a flunky thief, right?
Yes.
Because like it is useful to have a thief for like the maps where you want thieves, right? Like even if you can use chest keys, like it's easier to just be like, this is the unit who is a walking chest key, and also you want the Delphi shield, right? Like
that is true. I don't want the Delphi shield.
And like Cath and Astolfo can steal the Delphi shield, right? But
also, I think you'd be excited to see this.
Yeah, base level board. 0 because the enemies finally don't have double hard mode bonuses.
Thank you.
It's funny, in no redundancy, Boars got combined with Barth. So I had a level 1 Armor Knight, and I deployed him for, I think it was Chapter 11 in the Western Isles, and he just was getting tinged by ballistas.
That's so funny.
Because Barth has a really good defense base.
I feel like I remember his HB base also being pretty sick.
Yes, that too.
Oh, wow.
Barth is like a surprisingly... So like, if you ignore the fact that he's stuck as an Armor Knight in a GBA game, Barth is actually a surprisingly well-statted unit. However, he is competing for Knight's Crests, which are... I wouldn't say they're the most competed over resource. They're just
are
the
a very
rarest,
competed
right?
one.
Or like, I think that there are more units who want the Hero Crest, but you just don't get Knight Crest, right? Like, you have one. So I guess it is more competed over because, like, Elen and Lance both want it, which means no one else gets it. Right? Like, Trek and Noah, Boars, Barth, and Wendy are just, like, crying at the fact they can't get a Knight's Crest.
Because you get your first one in Chapter 8, but you don't get your next one until all the green units survive in Chapter 15.
Yeah. I guess when I say most competed over, I mean, like, I tend to think of Heroes Crest as, like, obviously Rutger gets the first one, but Crest number 2, there's quite a lot of candidates who, like, make decent arguments for Crest number 2, right? Like, so that's what makes me think that it's competed over as compared to, like, a lot of units would benefit from a Knight's Crest, but they're not getting it. because either Alen or Lance is getting it. Like, unless obviously you can give it to someone else. Like, I gave the first one to Boars in one playthrough.
Because it'd be
I've
funny.
given it to Trek before. Trek's the one who's like, he's got a support with. He's the sleepy one, right? Or is that Noah?
He's the sleepy boy.
I gave him to the one who's considered worse. I think, is Trek the one who's worse, or is Noah the one who's worse?
It kind of depends on what you're looking for. It's actually, who can just check something real quick. You can pick her up.
But
right?
like,
Yeah.
they definitely want, like, them with the Night Crest, I think, is like a better overall output than like, you know, giving Hero Crest number 2 to like Deike or Gonzalez or someone, right? However, I think that there's a larger number of units who say like, I actually want Hero Crest number 2 if you want to use me, right?
Yes.
Like if you want to make one of the fighters into a warrior, they want Hero Crest number 2. If
Yes.
you want to make
gosh,
Gonzalez into a
Marcus.
berserker, he wants Hero Crest number 2. Also nice crit.
He's gotten like 6 crits, and I'm actually kind of upset. I'm doing this to build axe rank, and every crit is a point of axe rank he's
Minus
not
1
getting.
functionally, yeah. What's his axe rank at? It's D.5, right?
Basically.
Are we building towards killer axe, I guess, or arm
Killer. I'm mostly building towards killer. If he gets arm ads, it'll be silly, but I'm mostly building for killer for the next map.
Yeah. Does he need, like, can't he just silver lance the wyverns? It's been a while since I've, like...
So the difference between using Silver Lance and Killer Axe is Killer Axe, you're trading 2 points of damage, but you're getting 30 crit and 10 extra hits. And you're taking 1 less damage, and the enemy has 10 less hit on you.
Yeah.
So you're
makes
trading
sense.
you're trading 2 points of might for all of those, and I kind of see them as a worthwhile trade.
I agree. Should we talk about why Merlinus is sitting in such a weird situation?
Yeah, I had a slot for him, and I figured nothing else, he could just take a hit for someone. But right now, he's just blocking Cath and blocking the bottom reinforcements.
So for those who are not aware, when we say blocking the bottom reinforcements, the reinforcement trigger on this map is really weird, and I think unique, at least to vanilla GBA. I don't know of any other map that has this form of trigger. And
I don't
what
think
it
many others
is,
do.
what it is you have to have your entire army past a vertical line. So if a single blue unit is not past that line, the reinforcements will never show up. So Merlinus standing there in the corner prevents them from ever spawning, which is really nice.
Yes.
He's also blocking Cath because she spawns inside of the wall, in what I have to imagine was a tiling error, right? Like, I have to imagine she was supposed to spawn 1 square to the left. Similar to, like, I refuse to believe that the boss of Chapter 4 in Sacred Stones was not meant to be standing on the forest.
I'm the same way. That guy had to be that had to be a mistake. I refuse to believe that was on purpose.
This
Oh, wow.
proves that Wolt is better than Dorothy.
Yeah, he's actually going kind of crazy. Funny how that happens when you retrain a unit.
Remember how I said best case scenario Wolt dies next
Right.
map?
Yeah?
I actually disagree now. I think best case scenario Dorothy dies next map.
Yeah, Dorothy is a unit.
I know at least one person who will be very upset that I said that. But he's just gonna have to deal with it.
Yep.
I don't think she's especially good. I think she shows up at a time that, like... She's a unit who shows up at a time that is sort of best designed to give a good impression. And it's still not great. I do like it when developers give a unit a join map or a map right after a join that is designed to, like, give their best foot forward, right? Like,
Yes.
Etier
is the best example I can think of, where she just...
Oh,
I guess
yeah.
I said a forbidden name. Now I have to fear my comment section, but
Yeah,
her
people are
joining
getting
map
very
where she
mad.
perfectly one-shots the Pegasi.
I mean, like, okay, if we want to
think
feed
that's
the
pretty
other
sick.
side of this honestly pointless debate. Alcurst is also in a map, like he's the first, he joins in the first map where there's flyers for, like there's 2 maps prior to his join where there's no flyers, 3 if you count the inner paralog, and then he joins and there are flyers, and with a get behind me proc, he can one-shot them, I believe, with his starting inventory.
Oh, nice.
You want to talk about a unit who is not given the best foot forward, and I think this unit is pretty mid, but they were very mean to her in her starting, and that was Lapis being a part of the Smash Weapon tutorial.
Yes.
Is so unnecessarily mean.
My poor girl, she does not need to be using Smash weapons.
Well, and what's extra funny is that combat is rigged such that she'll always hit, no matter what.
Oh my gosh, it is.
But it's not rigged such that she'll always dodge, so she's often just getting hit, like just getting fucking smacked before she's able to do anything.
Have you seen what the displayed hit for that combat is on her? For like what her chance to hit is?
No, because it's functionally 100.
Yeah.
Like it's literally hard-coded to never miss.
I didn't know that. So I saw
There's quite a few like that. There's quite a few instances like that. For example, the enemies in Chapter 11 are actually hard-coded to never crit you on enemy phase until you get the time crystal back. They can crit you on player phase, but they can't crit you on enemy phase until you get the time crystal back.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
There's a couple of enemies. I think there's some enemies that can't crit you in Chapter 3 as well. I think the pegs can't crit, but I might be wrong about, like, that might be misinformation. There's a few instances of, like, enemies that just, like, can't crit or or will always get hit,
Interesting. I didn't know about these.
Game. Yeah, it's invisible skills is what it is. So it's not that Lapis will always, like, it's not that individual combat with Lapis versus the Smash guy will always hit, it's that guy will never dodge anything in his fucking life. Like, no matter what. But the reason that I say it with Lapis is it's clearly because he's part of the Smash Weapon tutorial, and if they didn't do that, it would tutorialize you into thinking, oh wow, these Smash Weapons suck ass. Although, as it stands, it tutorializes you into thinking, oh wow, Lapis sucks ass. And I mean, I think she is a pretty mediocre unit. Like, I want to say she's mid, but I know that for some reason, some people view the word mid as meaning bad.
Yeah.
I think she's mediocre. I think that, like, the reason she's bad, quote-unquote, isn't that she's bad, but that, she wants resources that everyone around her also wants and makes better use of. That being, like, Master Seal, Second Seal.
Yeah.
Ooh!
This is fine.
Yeah, this is like a breather map.
Which I will appreciate. I think we're just gonna I think I'm gonna have Marcus go fight all these mages.
You might actually have the first recorded death in Chapter 6, his history.
Very true.
Because of how the wheel works. Like, I know, obviously, you know, the wheel deaths are not a reflection of player error, but...
Yeah, it's just more silly
than
anything. Look at this absolute unit doesn't face crit from this Thunder Mage.
You know who else doesn't face crit from that Thunder Mage?
Who doesn't?
Lapis, because she would be programmed to not get crit.
Oh, he can't reach.
I almost said you should shove him, but then I remembered this is a bad game.
I love shoving. Shoving's one of my favorite mechanics.
That is one of the, like, okay, I'm gonna give you my sales pitch on Vision Quest. Shove.
Go for it.
Shove. Every unit in Vision Quest, every infantry unit in Vision Quest has shove.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
It's not con-based, I think because of GBA limitations.
Oh
so
yeah,
just
that'd be
every infantry unit can shove, and every mounted unit is canto.
Nice.
Oh, strength.
Yeah, and that.
This
and I'll
is
take a
proof
point
that
of skill
Wade is
on
good.
it.
He needs the skill. He needs the skill. He has a serious skill issue.
Definitely. Oh, we can't reach support range. Actually, crying.
All right. Question.
Uh-huh.
What unit that you hate, that you have like a whether justified or unjustified disdain for, is coming with us to endgame. Like, just is definitely happening. Because I know that you and I both don't like Wade. Like, he's certainly one of the units of all time that exists. Do you think we're getting Warrior Wade this playthrough?
I'm
or
really
like,
curious.
I know you don't like Zeus. I think Zeus is quite good, but I know you don't like him for like personal reasons.
I've actually turned around on Zeus. I did I just did an Iron Man of FE6, which is crazy that I'm just playing FE6 again because I love this game so much.
It's a good game.
And I tried to ignore using the really good units. So I didn't use Milady, I didn't use Percy, I didn't use Rucker. And it was really fun, by the way. It was actually a lot of fun trying to not use all of the, all the universally considered use this units. And one of them was I used Zeus just as a funny training project, and because I had the Elysian Whip for it. And it was really enjoyable. It was pretty funny. Although he did get 1 or 2 blank level ups because he starts with such high strength. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
he keeps critting.
I think Zeus is good though. Obviously he's not like as good as Milady, but I think he's an example of an S that like doesn't suck ass. I think mostly because like he's in a class that's in high demand, right? You only get 2 Wyverns. And
Wyvern is good.
Well, yeah, Wyvern is good. And like the other thing is that the training arc has a near guaranteed payoff in that even if he does end up like having his growths not pan out, you can always do the thing where like you just promote him, get him killer lances, and then like
go crazy with him.
He's not gonna be as good as if his growths did work out as they're supposed to. But like he's used in 0% growths. So, and I think that's funny. The sign of a unit that, like, you do still need to do. The funny thing is, like, in 0 growths, you do still need to do the training art with him, right? So I do think that he is still. I would still consider him to be an S. I know that, like, with the archetypes, things can get contentious as to who qualifies or doesn't qualify, but I don't think it's controversial to say that he's an S, right? Like,
I think it fits. He's even a flyer, so I think that fits.
Yeah, I guess most S's are flyers. And also the units who intelligence systems, like, clearly intended to be S's but are not S's also tend to be flyers. Like, Rosado, I think, is meant to be an S, but just, like, they forgot to make his IL low. Which is so tragic.
But he's super cute, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day.
Cute and strong.
Very.
But no, I fully believe that Rosado is like an attempt at an S, or like should be an S, but then they were just like, what should his internal level be? Goldberry joins in the same chapter as him? We'll just give them basically the same internal level, even though one of them is the basis unit and one of them is like, Rosado's growths aren't like leagues above everyone else's, but like neither are S's, right? Neither are Zeus's. Neither are a lot of things that people would consider S's.
They just have a lot of levels to grow, and you can watch the stats go up over and over again.
Well, they do have good growths, right? It's just not like if the average unit has a strength growth of 50, the S isn't going to have a strength growth of 100, but maybe they'll have like 60, right?
Yes.
That's also a bad example because usually like, the average unit has a strength growth of like 30 or 40 depending.
Something I really like about Est and FE3 is I believe a bunch of her stats are 70%. A whole bunch of her growth rates are all 70%. And the Star Sphere bumps your growths up by 30%.
Ooh, that's nice.
So a bunch of her growth rates all just become 100%, and she can snowball.
Who's your favorite Est? Is FE3 Est your favorite Est? And by Est, I mean the archetype, not the unit.
Yeah.
Just like...
So weirdly enough, I kind of like training Nino.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure why, but I kind of enjoy it.
FE7 was your first, or was Sacred Stones your first?
Sacred Stones was my first, but FE7 was second.
Could it be like nostalgia?
It could be. And Night of Farewells isn't that bad of a map to train her in, and I'm so used to playing it over and over. So I think that might be some of it. I've never tried to train a base level Nino in Kaga Destiny, so that might be some of the bias.
I have a problem with that sentence, and that's that you said Night of Farewells isn't such a bad map. Nothing
to train Nino
nothing coming after that registered in my mind. That broke me.
Since nothing else is going on besides me just grabbing stuff out of boxes, FE7's a really weird game for me because I am very nostalgic for it, but in a very weird way, because I played FE8 first alongside my cousin, and we played the different routes on FE8. So we found a way to play FE7, which was definitely a very legal upload of the game on like the Amazon App Store. Trust us.
Yeah. Not newgrounds.com?
He's gonna be fine. Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't get doubled. There's no way the steel bow archers double him. Like, I know Alan's the slow calf, but there's no way steel bow archers double him.
I also think he's still at base speed.
There's still no way steel bow archers double him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. I don't care.
She was able to grab it before it got taken off of the App Store because it got taken off for some reason. Gee, I wonder why. And she came over. She lives a couple hours away from me, so she came over one day, and we were like, not 11. We would have been like 13 or something at the time. Oh, sick, sure, killer axes. And she was stuck at Night of Farewells, and we spent quite a while trying to figure out how to beat this map. So in a way, Night of Farewells was the first FE7 map that I played.
You know what my favorite method of beating Night of Farewells is?
You say no to the side quest prompt.
You just say no to the side quest prompt. PSA, you still get Jafar. For some reason, there's a huge misconception on the internet, like very common misconception, that if you skip Night of Farewells, you don't get Jafar. That's just not true. In fact, if anything, if you like Jafar, you should skip Night of Farewells, because if you skip Night of Farewells, it is implied that Jafar goes and kills everyone in that map on his own with no help whatsoever. And that's incredibly fucking raw and based.
What a guy. Well, not the guy from like chapter 13. What a unit.
Guy versus Guy pronunciation will be like the end of my fucking... Because the thing is, like, I call him Guy, I still call him Guy, but I know there's people who get mad about that, and listen, okay. I'm just, like, not here for the pronunciation war thing. I absolutely think that you should pronounce people's names correctly when they are real people, or if they're, like, real names, right, and you're, like, mispronouncing it. Especially if it's, like, a name that is not of your particular culture, and you just don't want to bother learning how to pronounce them correctly. Like, that is often rooted in, like, some racism, right? Not, like, you know, cross-burning KKK stuff, but, you know, like, just the minor McJiggers or whatever. Like, the little quibbles we all get ingrained into us. That said, one, Guy is a name that people have. It's a real name that people have. It's not like I'm pronouncing Guy wrong. It's not like I'm using a fake name. But number two, and this is perhaps the more important one, Guy's not a real person. And, like, yes, it is important, like, you know, the ways in which we talk about, like, fictional characters can reflect the ways in which we talk about real people, and, you know, I've made some videos about some stuff with, like, you know, Rosado or some others. And I do think, like, it's important to be conscious about the ways in which we bring our biases into these and whatnot. But see, point number one, Guy is a real name. It's not like you're using, like, a fake name. And it's not like you're, like, pronouncing a real name weirdly. Because I've had some people talk about how, like, I've mispronounced some FE4 character names, and some people have said, hey, those are, like, based in, like, I think it's Celtic or Welsh?
It's something like that. I don't know 100% myself.
And they're it's real names, and I think that is, like, a perfectly valid criticism to have, and, like, I don't want to, disrespect a culture that I'm not familiar with. I will, endeavor to do my best to pronounce those names the way that they are meant to be. Guy's a white dude with a white dude name that is Guy. I'm not about to. Well, actually, it's pronounced G. G-U-Y is pronounced G-U-Y. Is pronounced Guy. I think even more so, like, maybe it's because of the amount of times I've gotten into, like, pronunciation wars stuff with, like, Pokemon or, like, fictional creatures or, like, fictional artifacts or stuff, things that, like, have no basis in the real world, but I do think that people get, like, way too into pronouncing, like,
yes,
way too uppity about the pronouncings, to the point where, like, when I'm talking about Pokemons, I will often just, like, intentionally pronounce a Pokemon's name wrong.
It's about sending a message.
It is. Or sometimes I refer to Yoshi as Yoshi. The dinosaur that Mario likes to ride. His name is Yoshi.
Oh my gosh.
Because that's not a real fucking creature. I'm not racist against the Yoshis.
Now, Walt's gonna be a Jagan here for a sec.
He's setting but kill for who? Dorothy?
Dorothy.
The superior Jagan archer sets up the kill for the inferior...
Thank you.
What would this be?
Girl.
Dorothy is now the Wolf archetype, and Wolf is the Jagan archetype.
Oh, how the roles have reversed.
Oh, how the turns have tabled. Oh, yes indeed. Oh, yes indeed.
Look at this LTC strat.
Based LTC strat right there.
Recruiting Sewell.
Wait, are you opening those doors for the reinforcements?
Not right now. I might at some point.
Interesting maneuver.
I want every drop of EXP I can get.
How does Boris do against them?
I'm actually kind of curious.
Good to go?
He doesn't even have a key on him, but I imagine he wouldn't be too bad.
I don't know. Getting doubled and chunked for a lot of damage sounds too bad to me. TBH.
Another bow unit. If Walt survives this, I'm gonna have 3 bow units in the next map.
What is this? Oops, all archers?
About to be. I'll just leave you down here. Alright, and as long as Maryland is down here. I felt like I was forgetting about a reinforcement section or something. Like, I feel like there's supposed to be more enemies in this map that I'm usually worried about.
Can you do me a favor?
Uh-huh.
Can you check Wade and Lot's levels?
Yep. 3 versus 6.
Oh, that's a shame. I was gonna propose we could have 4 bow units next map.
Oh. No. No. I have a plan for that Hero's Crest, and I haven't told anyone watching the video yet what it is, and I can't wait for them to speculate on what it is.
You told me, and it's
I sure did.
instant promote Lot and or Wade.
Oh no, my secret plan!
And train them to longbow rank, so they can longbow kill the Chapter 8 boss from out of his range.
Ooh, I found a niche for Sue. She's gonna open the door down here. Okay.
So, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
If you have both Walt and Dorothy, might it be worth not deploying Sue next map so that you definitely get Shin since he's one of the best units in the game?
That is a very good point.
Like, I love Shu, or, sorry, I love Sue. Shu is the no redundancy unit. I love Sue. I do. One of my favorite units. I genuinely think that, she does more good for you recruiting Shin than she does shooting on wyvern. Like she doesn't one round the wyverns.
No, the archer's performance against the wyverns next map is pretty pathetic.
Which is extra sad because like for Dorothy and Sue, it's specifically like it's a map that seems to be tailor-made to try to show them their best light, right?
But then they just don't do anything.
I mean, their best light is just not great. It does show them in their best light, just that best light is not impressive.
Did I already run out the last turn of reinforcements up top? I thought there was one more wave. Although I feel like I ask that question every time I play this map, and then I get jump scared by them every single time.
Let me look it up in WOD.
I'm on turn 16.
Okay. Cap after turn 5. 2 turns after opening the lower room, 2 turns after opening the lower room. Turn 8, turn 12, and turn 16.
Okay. So there's this turn, there's going to be one more wave of them.
Yep.
Okay, that always happens where I go, huh, maybe I did run out the last wave, and then one more wave shows up and I scream.
Do you want to eventually bait the back reinforcements?
Yes, I do plan on doing that at some point.
Okay, you're just, you know, taking them one section at a time because it's safer.
Yes. Badoosh. I love Marcus so much.
I love Marcus too. I'm a sucker for purple, and he's a purple paladin, like, and he also performs very well. It's hard to go wrong.
Yeah. He gets orange in FE7. He promoted into orange, or I guess he demoted into orange since the story comes first.
One of the many reasons why FE7 is worse than FE6.
Marcus is the wrong color.
Many reasons. Yeah, he goes orange instead of purple. Purple good. Orange stinky.
How many of you guys
orange
have
is bad.
Ooh. So we can
I'm trying to think who my favorite Est is. Is it cheating to use a ROM hack? Because I really like the Est and Iron Emblem, but that feels like cheating. It's not real.
I say, because the only downside to that is I have no idea who you're going to be talking about.
Yeah. I just really like the Est and Iron Emblem because, like, since you've got a ton of generics, any unit who has good growth rates stands out as, like, worth training because your other units don't. Does Myrrh count as an Est?
See,
I don't think she does, but some people say she does. If she does, it is her, but like I think Myrrh defies. I honestly don't think Myrrh fits into any archetype. I think the people who say she's either an Est or a Goto are like just trying to make someone into an archetype that they're not. Like just every unit has to be an archetype. I can see the like stretched logic for both, but like the fact that the logic is so stretched that she can fit into these two very different roles that the only thing they have in common is they're late joiners tells me that perhaps she isn't either of them.
But she has to be an
I guess
archetype.
comment down below. Do you think Myrrh is an Est, a Goto, or like neither? Because I don't think she's either. And I swear to God, if you say she's a Tiki archetype, I will find you.
Look at this guy go.
Good Jagan.
He's got just his one hand
Dorothy.
axe.
Setting up kill for Dorothy.
He sure is.
Boom! It's like I know you. It's
Look at
like
this
I
good
know
unit.
you.
Come on, Dorothy, level up.
Does Silver Snow Cyril count? If Silver Snow Cyril counts, then Silver Snow Cyril. But the ways that you fix Silver Snow Cyril are generally outside of the battlefield anyway. He does need some stats. He definitely does need some stats. But I think it's mostly just getting him PvV, getting him Death Blow, getting him the stuff he missed. Getting him Vengeance eventually. God, it takes so long to get him Vengeance in Silver Snow. It's tragic.
So I will out myself real quick as one of those people who looked at Cyril, saw he had aptitude, and said, "Yep, this is some kind of growth unit. I'm just not going to bother with him."
Sorry, I had a chip in my mouth. But I was appalled at that statement. Understandable though, like I totally get it.
I think I used them for a little while. I forgot what I even did with them because I wasn't all that impressed with them, but I have no idea what I did with them.
The thing is, right, like, he's not that impressive if you use him like a typical growth unit. He's a unit who's like really rewards just having the information as to how he works, right?
Yes.
Because his like claims to fame, and I'm gonna talk about him on like early Cyril because I late Cyril is a whole different bag, right?
Yes.
Like late Cyril does fit like sort of the est once growths type deal, but with early Cyril, you recruit him as soon as you can, which is for the Miklon chapter, and you recruit him at the beginning of the month. Tutor him in bows, I think only once, and then have him focus bows. And he reaches point blank volley. And then with, I think it's like a steel bow plus and a strength meal, he can one round every enemy on the map other than Miklon.
Oh wow. Yeah, I know I definitely did not have... I did not have Cyril for that map. I don't remember what map I had him for, but I know it wasn't that one.
Like, Three Houses is just, it's a game where stats aren't what makes a unit good. Which makes the units, like, much more interesting to talk about. Than, like, the typical Fire Emblem, where, like, you know, we can gush about, like, Marcus all we want, but ultimately, like, his class and his stats are the only attributes about him, right? We can talk about how, you know, like, you know, hitting Axe rank allows him to... There's a lot to gush about with Marcus, but it is...
Yes.
To me, less interesting than, like, the neat tech. Like, I think there's a reason why people keep trying to come up with cool builds for Engage, and attributing these cool builds to units, as opposed to just, like, saying... Sorry.
It's okay.
I feel like there's a cottage industry of, like, build unit name, claiming that build is a thing that only that unit can pull off, and like for the most part, that's just not like how they work.
It's almost like someone put up a video today about reclassing and stuff.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I filmed that video so long ago that I like.
Yeah, that's the video.
Comments on that video were weirdly negative. I didn't expect that to be the video that got like the most negative reaction, but I got a lot of hate for that.
Interesting.
I'm honestly confused more than anything.
I haven't seen it yet since I've been busy today, but that's interesting.
I filmed it a while ago, but if I'm remembering correctly, the takeaway, like my general points were like, reclassing is here to stay. In Engage, it kind of makes the units monotonous because anyone can fill any role. And the only things that differentiate units are their stats and their personal. And a couple of units have like personal classes, but they tend not to be especially good.
They're just kind of special versions of classes that already exist.
Yeah, and the units themselves tend to not be great, in part because like their classes make up for the lacks of their stats, right? In one way or another, right?
Yeah.
Like, but then like my takeaway was, you know, I feel like what we should do is, because I don't think getting rid of reclassing in general, or even just like eliminating the sandbox mode, is the way to go. I think that what we want is like similar to classic plus casual, just add sandbox or restricted as options. And like in restricted, you can, you know, reclass similarly like Awakening or Fates. You know, you have like this unit has a class set of a couple, right? Like, they have 2 or 3 they can be going to, but they can't be anything. But then for the people that like doing weird builds, like sandbox mode would let them then do whatever build they want, right? I'm like, yeah, that seems like the best way to satisfy.
It's a win-win. What could possibly go wrong?
Right? Well, apparently it makes me a toxic elitist, so I don't know. I genuinely don't understand. I've definitely made some videos where I'm like, yeah, I can see, like, people are going to be upset at this video, right? This is not one where I thought that would be the case. Like,
Yeah,
I really thought this would be just, like, an uncontroversial filler video while I'm preparing my 1500 special. So I don't know. What was I even talking about before?
I'm not really sure.
Oh, yeah, three houses units.
Oh, right.
How, like, their stats... So 3 houses units stats are not what make them unique. Is Locke gonna be dead?
He should be fine.